Do you relate well to being spiritual and not religious? Are you looking to transform your life to have greater purpose and experience more joy and abundance? If you are, you've come to the right place. Welcome. I'm Neil Pinkman, the Spiritual Director for the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Over the past 2 decades, our open and affirming, diverse community has helped countless people in the same way. Enjoy watching. If you like what you see, check us out at cslnj.org.
Let us make a joyful sound. You stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. You stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Everybody, get on your feet. See the light. Everybody, get on your feet. See the light. Everybody, never feel right. Our love, what we want to be. You stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. You stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. See the light. Everybody, get on your feet. See the light. Everybody. Let's be reminded of who we meant to be. Our love, your love, what we meant to be. Good morning.
All right, there's a lot going on today, but I thought you'd give you guys a photo opportunity on these haircuts. Right? A little bit different here today. A little bit different. Good morning.
Good morning.
Anybody think it's cold out? You know, I remember using this line back when we were in Caldwell. And Brian's not here. We did it was so cold. There you go, somebody's got it, right? That when I got in my car this morning, the temperature gauge, you know where it usually says like 23F for the temperature? It said WTF. That's how cold it was. I recycle them every 6-7 years, what can I tell you? So, there is a lot going on here today, and let's just start with this. Please, we are the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. And, say it with me, we are an open and affirming science of mind community where the vibration of love lifts you, the wisdom of the ages inspires you, and the science of mind teaching empowers you. We believe that heaven and hell are states of consciousness that you experience in this lifetime, and that you are the architect of your life, and that it is never too late to know true happiness. So there's so many people to thank. There's so much going on. So let's start by thanking me. Those of you who don't know, I am Reverend Neil Pinkman, the spiritual director of this community, who had the honor and the privilege of stepping in after Reverend Michelle Wadleigh. And Reverend Michelle is our speaker today. I also want to thank, I do believe it was Zuma who was Psalm Sunday facilitator today. We have Reverend Evelyn as our practitioner of the day today. And we have a lot of really, really good music today. And I want to thank all of the musicians, Celine and all of the musicians, for providing just incredible music for an entire year. Which brings me to another point. There's one Sunday left in this year, and Reverend Joel will be the speaker next Sunday. And I can't be here next Sunday, so I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you. We made it this year. You know, we were... I had a conversation yesterday. I had to do something while I was waiting for Michelle to get that haircut. And I was on the phone with somebody from the member council. We got talking about the fact that there's a lot of ministers in this organization, and there's a lot of practitioners in this organization. But it's us as members who are this organization. And it's the members of this community with great for so long that built this community. And it's the members, all of you, everybody, whether we're ministers or not, we're at the bottom, we're just members, regardless of what we are. And we've done this for the past year, in a year of transition, and we're here, and we're moving forward, and we're doing a great job. So thank you all. It's been fantastic. One other note, and you'll be reminded about this, there's a little change in the programming for January 5th. We are in-person single Sunday in January. However, we're taking advantage of a mistake. Excuse me. We were supposed to be here in the morning on January 5th, and I got a call from B'nai Kashet that said, oops, we double booked, we're really sorry. And you know, let's have a round of applause for B'nai Kashet. They've been fantastic. It really has been a great partnership. They are wonderful people. And Mark, who's the executive director, said, they're really sorry, we double booked. You know, you can't be here in the morning. We said, all right, we'll do something different. So we're going to have an evening service on the 5th. It's going to be different. I've asked Reverend Michelle, this won't surprise you, to do it. Because if you want something different, she's your girl, no doubt. So we don't know what it's going to look like, but I would ask anybody who really wants to help the community to be here at like 4 o'clock on that day to help us set up whatever it is. So, you know, we're going to think it's going to be a little bit different, which is nice. going to get the new year kicked off in a little bit different way, which is really nice. So we'll be done in time for, probably Andy will take everybody out to dinner afterwards. So, he's one hell of a guy. Yeah. So we've got a lot to cover today. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of great music, so let's get on with it. We're going to go to our opening chant and to the opening prayer with Reverend Evelyn. Thank you.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more.
My heart is full. What I know is that there is one power, one presence, one love, one law, one spirit, one mind. And each one of us, I am one with that one love. So I invite the presence of Spirit to hover over this beautiful Sunday celebration, to inspire everything that happens here today, inspire our hearts, to fill us with gratitude for all of the amazing things that have happened in this container of 2020. To be filled with gratitude for being here, right now, with breath in our and hope in our hearts. I am so grateful for life. I'm grateful for everyone under the sound of my voice. I'm grateful for this beautiful, beloved Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Just grateful for the love of God. So I know that Spirit is me, it's within each of us, and it is guiding us and inspiring and uplifting, holding and embracing, loving, caring, nurturing. So no matter what occurs, we know that Spirit is closer than our next breath. So I'm grateful. Grateful for this moment, grateful for this beautiful community, grateful for this incredible year, and for whatever is on in whatever is coming in 2025. We know that Spirit will be with us as always because we are individualized expressions of it. And so there is no fear, nothing but joy and gratitude. So I release this word with so much joy, so much gratitude, and love, knowing that my word is the law where it is spoken. So I allow this to be so. Please close with me by saying the
Thank you, Lynette, and thank you, Reverend Evelyn, for that beautiful treatment. So, if you would, in your programs and in the chat online, read along with me the December affirmation. I am the walking, talking evidence of love. Every breath I breathe, every thought I think, every exchange I have is based on and steeped in love, because I am the place where love resides. Love is the power that creates through me in all moments. It is love. It can only create love. I am responding with love now and always, and so it is. And speaking of love, we're going to go into the community greeting. So don't all rush to this person right away. But we have in our presence someone who hasn't been here in a long time. And we love her, and we love him. May I give you Mo and Mark to bring up. Say good morning, and then don't get carried away. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, how much is it your favorite sound this morning of Jameson in the background? We love Jameson. We love Jameson. That is just so precious. It used to be my grandchildren, now it's Jameson, so it's good to have him in the room. So I invite you, as we do every week, into the ritual and the practice of the peace practice. So if you will, bring to mind something that matters to you, maybe more than something else. You have a wide variety of things to choose from, unfortunately, at this moment in life. But choose something that you would like to hold dear and precious inside of you, something that you would like to stand for in change. And when you get to that place where you realize how important you are to that change, joy practice. I am the peace I want to see.
I am the peace I want to see.
I hold the peace for my family.
I hold peace for my family.
I hold the peace for this community.
I hold peace for this community.
This community holds the peace for the planet.
This community holds the peace for the planet.
Thank you.
It's all right. I know the page. And this one's fancier anyway. Okay. 495 in the Science of Mind textbook. The mind that Jesus used. We are to let the mind be in us, which was in Christ Jesus. Note carefully the manner in which the expression is used. The mind which was in Christ Jesus. This means the mind of God, not our personal mind, marvelous as this is with its different ramifications, but the mind which Jesus used, the divine mind of the Creator, the ruler of the universe. To have the same mind that Jesus used implies a power which is available to us all and may be used by all. The mind which was in Christ Jesus was the mind of truth. Hence, he became the way. But we are also to become the way, and this can be accomplished, only when we use the same mind that he used, which is the mind of God. We have the mind of Christ in such a degree as we trust implicitly in the universe and no longer do those things which contradict the fundamental goodness. From this mind proceeds the perfect law, which is the law of liberty. This mind is working in and through us. God can work for us only by working through us. Consequently, there is no other name under heaven whereby a man may be saved, not the name of Jesus, but the mind of Christ. The individual is thrown back on himself and upon the universe. Every man has the mind of Christ if he will admit it, but he can use this mind only when he is in harmony with life. Nature always guards herself against any undue, and the righteous alone may enter the portals of truth.
Of course, you know we invite you to stand and get your blood flowing. Sing along when you can. At the words, happy New Year. It's all that you know. Here we go. One love, one heart, let's get it together and feel alright. One love, one heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let them all pass their dirty remarks. There is one question I to ask. Is there a for the homeless sinner who has heard of mankind just to save his own lips? There is one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody sing one love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together to find this holy Hallelujah. So when the end comes, there will be no doom. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There is no hiding place for the Father of creation. Everybody sing one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One more time. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. One more time we sing it. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Everybody sing the word of love, word of heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Feel alright, right? Alright, good morning.
Oh, thank you for that. I requested that song this morning. Thank you for that. One love, yes. Neil was asking me a couple of months ago, or maybe a month ago or so, if I had any suggestions about what the theme of December was. I'm like, well, you can't talk about love too much. Do you agree? You just can't talk about love too much. So I want to invite you all into a practice that I do with my grandchildren. And it's important because as I think we're more aware of our connection to the people that love us, and somehow as we get older, we go into this false idea that we're not loved. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you feel a little alone. It's simply because you haven't practiced your mind. So I decided to drive this idea into all of them, and even the baby now. So all of them. So Lila, will you come up, because we're going to demonstrate what this looks like. But I want you to imagine her about half the size and very little. You can stand up though. So I go up to them and I say, who loves you? And you say,
Nanny.
who else?
Pop.
Who else?
My grandparents and dad.
You what?
My brother, my sister, my parents, my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts. Who else? I'm thinking. Oh, my cousins. My mom's 47 cousins.
Now normally she actually names them. Sorry. It's okay. Anybody else?
River and Prairie, if they have a line.
Those are cats. Oh, river, oh, cat and dog, sorry.
My parents already said that. Nope, nobody else.
Okay, thank you. So will you play with me? So I'm going to ask the question. You're just going to whisper, audibly, but you're just going to, in a low voice, who loves you? So I'm asking you, who loves you? Go ahead, say it. Who loves you? Who else loves you? It could be people that are not on this plane, too. Who loves you? Who loves you? Who loves you? I don't see your mouths all moving, because I guarantee you have an ancestry of people that are in this room, and we can call them in right now. So your moms, your dads, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your wives, your husbands, your partners. Because I gotta tell you, when they're done with this plane, the only thing they're busy doing is expressing love. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. I'm not going to put it in writing, but I guarantee that. So my talk today, which might be a little surprising to each of you, was, Jesus loves you. Not something that I normally bring to the table. And yet, for me, there's something that I've always played with. And as you know, Jesus is spelled J-E-S-U-S. Anybody here know French, though? A little bit of French? So in French, it's je suis, I am. And I am was a very important concept to Jesus. I am that I am. So I'm gonna teach you something else right now, okay? Je suis amour. I am love. Je suis la paix. I am peace. Je suis la paix. Go ahead, try it. Now this one you're gonna have to bear with me. Je suis gracieux. Am I saying that right? I am, je suis gracieux. Go ahead, try it. It's all perfect. Do I believe that Jesus was a man that walked this planet? I'm still not certain. But I can't ignore that there are millions of people on this planet that believe he was and he did. I can't ignore the churches, the cathedrals that were raised in his name. I can't ignore that. I wouldn't mind having a church put up in my name, Saint Michelle. You invite me to do that? The point is, what kind of life did this individual live that had that kind of impact? Now, the impact is not only if you loved him, but those who even fought against him. It's impact either way. This person, this individual, whether he was and many people believe that he was an amalgamation of many, and he was an amalgamation of qualities and characteristics. I'll take all of it. I'll take everything that this person has been credited with. How about you? Because never did I hear anything. I've heard his name used in incorrect ways, but never has anything credited to this man Jesus that I say, oh, I don't know about that. So whether real or created, I want that. But I want to give you a couple of facts because I want to keep it real. You know, that's me. Jesus is not the only virgin birth. Do you know that? Was not the only virgin birth. There are many stories of other virgin births. He's also not the only story of resurrection. So you need to understand that somewhere historically these stories have meant a lot, but they have been represented by different individuals. I had this thought that I'd name them all for you. Couldn't bear to pronounce, couldn't even begin to pronounce half of the names that they were credited to, so I figured I'd leave that alone. But the point is, it's still Ernest Holmes. Most of what this man has ever said is something I can live with. Most of what the has ever said is something I can live with. Ask yourself, can I live with the teachings of these individuals? And for me, it is not about following. It is about the beingness. I want to be in the beingness of that Christ consciousness. I want to walk in that. And let me tell you, my life right now is I am tempted on a day-to-day basis to turn from my faith. Every day I have a temptation to think other, to think something's hard, to think in terms of challenge. And every single day, in our now, we have to make the decision to go by way of faith, and to go by way of principle, and to go by way of love, and to go by way of forgiveness. That path is the only path I can walk on that will help life to heaven on earth as we speak of it here. I want to read to you, and by the way, I used to know how many pages. I don't remember the answer anymore, but the largest. Could I have water? Could somebody, Brian, thank you. Thank you, one of you, thank you. The greatest section of this textbook is dedicated to Jesus, whether you know that or not. And I think you do, because none of us we don't want to have individuals that are just following. We want to have educated. So to be educated, it's important to know what is in this textbook that guides the very principles and the reasons that this community has come alive. And Holmes, when you read, it is kind of amusing. He bastardizes a lot of Jesus's writings. It's somewhat amusing, well, for people like me. I'm sure some people would be horrified. I tend to be somewhat amused by it. Brian, thank you so much. Thank you. So I want to read to you another piece. Each of us then represents the whole. No, wait, I'm going to start further up. This is why Jesus prayed to the indwelling I am, je suis, and said, Our Father which art in heaven. And again he said, the kingdom is within you. This is what we have studied for 20 some odd years, that heaven and hell are states of consciousness that we experience in this lifetime. Each of us then represents the whole. How could we feel toward the whole? In the old order, we thought of the whole as a sort of mandatory power, an autocratic government, an arbitrary God, sending some to heaven and some to hell, and all for his glory. Now we are more enlightened, and we realize that there could be no such divine being. We have meditated upon the vastness of the universe as law, and we have said, God is law. There is a divine principle which is God. In the new order of thought, we are likely to fall into this as great an error as in the old thought, unless we go much deeper than thinking of God as merely principle. God is more than law or principle. God is the infinite spirit, the limitless conscious life of the universe, the one infinite within whom all people live, one indivisible whole. There's nothing that I just read that I could object to. You good with all what I just read? Okay. Makes me wonder sometimes why we didn't talk about it more, which I have time to reflect after 11 months not being in the pulpit. There were 3 specific things that Jesus stood for that I totally align with. Unconditional love. We talk, and maybe not just here, but unconditional love is a conversation a lot in churches such as this, but I don't always. I'm sorry to say. I think we could do more. I think we could do a better job. Simply by looking at the place within another where spirit dwells and recognizing them and loving them with all their qualities, their foibles, all the questionable behavior, because guess what? You and I are not judges. We're not. And the more we can step into that state of unconditional love, the more we emanate around us everywhere, the possibility of a planet that is stunning. I want to live on a planet that's stunning. How about you? So it means that you can't wait for the next time you come to church, or the next time you take a class, or the next time you're in prayer. It means the next time when you're on the street and that person cuts you off. That's your petri dish, as I used to call it. The next time when your mind is blown because you see somebody drop a bottle on the street. My granddaughter, Bill and Marilyn, recently took the grandkids to New York City, and they took the ferry, and Lila was telling me about the bottles she saw floating in the river. There's a spiritual practice right there. Acceptance that somewhere in the unconscious mind of the individual tossing, they're going to have to make good for that in their time, not ours. Let us not be the holder. Let us not be the judges. Let us not make someone right or wrong. God knows I don't want you looking inside my heart, because sometimes I fail miserably. Anybody else fail sometimes? I fail. And I don't really like it when I fail. And everything I do is to try to forgive myself for being human. So the second part, and this is no surprise to any of you, is the power of forgiveness. This is what he spoke to out, and he says, and I'm just going to read it as they are. I'm not going to gender neutral these for you this time. If you forgive those who sin against you, your heavenly Father will forgive you. But if you refuse to forgive others, your Father will not forgive your sins. Now let's think of Father in a grander way. Let's think of Father as creator. And let's think of Father as creator of consciousness, from the point of consciousness. So basically what we're being taught here is that when we hold these sins against another in consciousness, we experience the sin. We experience the pain of the sin. We experience the judgment of the other, because you and I cannot find freedom as long as we walk around and we know better. And I try to be light about this, so I'll try to make a very a general distinction about conscious people and unconscious people. That's another form of judgment. It's another form of judgment. It is. So don't follow my lead with that. I think it's a way of trying to be gentle, but maybe not so much. And then he said, do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. On that, so right now I still have not mentioned anything that I can't live with from this master teacher, is how I think of him. This master teacher, Jesus, the Christ consciousness of this individual. And then the last one, this one took me a long time to sit with, and a few years ago, and I probably did a talk on it, although I can't remember, a few years ago, I finally got this. I got it like I never got it before. Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I, of course, with all my teaching and writing about forgiveness, I realized that even those who seem purposeful in their harmfulness, if they realized they had to carry that sin into their karmic reality, would probably not do it. I say probably because I don't know the keeper. I'm not the keeper of people's consciousness. I don't think someone would have harmed you if they would have thought about it. I don't. I don't think my father would have harmed me if he had thought it through. I don't think that those who have done whatever you have been involved in your life would have, if they could have had a sense of the long-term impact, both on the other and within themselves. I don't. I don't. And then he stood for compassion. I'm learning a lot about compassion right now. Jesus' life was a testament to living with compassion. He taught that true greatness comes from serving others with empathy and kindness. So a few weeks ago, I take my young granddaughter on Wednesdays. I take her to school, and I have about 2.5 hours I have to fill up, and I usually go get my nails done at this place. So I'm sitting there, and there was this elderly black woman sitting next to me, and so there's some chatting going on a little bit. And what I didn't realize initially is that she was very blind. Not totally blind, but very blind. Like, she wanted to see my nails, and I had to do this to her. So it was that kind of blind. And so she got done, and they were taking care of her, and they must know her. She used to live in Morris Plains for 30 years, and she still comes back to that same salon. And so they were taking care of her. She needed an Uber. She was going to Kmart, or not Kmart, Kohl's. And so I still have the mother thing in me. I still listen to all conversations all around. It's crazy making sometimes. But I'm catching a little bit of that conversation, and then my nails get done, and I walked up and I paid, and trouble getting an Uber, and I don't know why. And I said, I'll take you. I'll take you. I'll take you. I still had time, and it was in the direction I was going to go. I said, I'll take you. And what I noticed after saying that was the faces of the operators, the nail operators, who they know her, and they were kind of surprised that someone who did not know this person would take this moment and to do this for her. What I've come to realize is that in my giving, I receive so much more. I receive so much more. When I give love and I give service, it is, we have a gift exchange happening, and a number of my boys don't want to do it anymore. We'll talk about that later. And my one son said, two sons said, I don't want anything. I'm like, but the one son I really like buying. And I said, please. He goes, well, don't do it out of obligation. I thought, I never give out of obligation. It just doesn't work that way. But I mention this to you because we looked at it right now. It would look kind of greedy. The world could look kind of greedy right now. And so let us be the ones. Let us be the people who give in such a way that we inspire others. Let us be that. Let us be the ones who forgive, not to get, but to give for freedom for ourselves and for that individual. Because as long as I hold you wrong, I'm in prison with you, and you know that. To practice unconditional love, which means love without judgment. Let us watch and see, where are we? Oh God, the temptation. The temptation to find wrong is very palatable. Anybody, can you back me up on this? Like, I know a lot of you are in this practice. I know you are, but the temptation is large. And so what you and I have to be is diligent over our minds. We have to be diligent over our minds and heart, because there's sometimes I really think I deserve to be pissed off. I do. There's sometimes I'm convinced. I am. I'm absolutely convinced. And I always refer to my interesting son, and I'm more convinced with him often than others. And then I think, on my deathbed, am I going to feel good that I was so righteous, or I'm going to wish that I was madly in love and held that space? The answer is obvious. The answer is obvious. Yes. There are some behaviors out there I don't love. I don't. There are a lot of opportunities. But I believe in all my heart, if we are conscious, those of us who consider ourselves conscious, if we consider ourselves having awareness, have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to not be part of the climate of hatred and separation and racism and homosexuality, homophobia, and any kind of division. We have a responsibility. Let's be that. Let's always be that. Let's be so identified by our actions that people wonder who you are. Let them want to know. Because what I know is that when I turn away and I repent from that temptation and I turn away from it, I am immediately lighter. I am immediately lighter. Not easy. It's a task. When you are willing Oh, and yeah, there is one other point. And when I teach my shadow work, one of the things that is less obvious in shadow work is what they call the golden shadow. Some of you know what the golden shadow is? The golden shadow is when we look at somebody and we just think, oh, they're the best, they're wonderful, they're a speaker, they're beautiful, they got all these talents, but we don't recognize that all of those things that I'm projecting onto you are available to me. It's the same if I criticize you. If I criticize you, I have to ask myself, wow, that behavior? Well, the golden shadow says, well, except for Lynette, because I will never be able to sing like she does. She might be the exception to this rule. So we don't always exactly have the talents we recognize, but if we have an appreciation for them. So for me, Jesus is our golden shadow if we want it to be. Contained within these of him and the personality of him. I want to walk that. I don't want to follow him. I want what he has. I want what Buddha has. I want what Thich Nhat Hanh had and still has. I want that. I want what inspired them not to follow them, not to be a blind follower, but to absorb within my being so that I allow for this golden shadow that I project onto this individual to be who I am. So when you think someone has what you don't, think again. Because you can only see the potentiality of what lives inside of you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Say yes to those talents. Say yes to that love. So when you are willing to allow this kind of love in your life, you are activating the powerful love of the universe. And it's a law. Love is a law. Love demands our attention. Love is law. It's a creative law of the universe. And when we accept it and allow it, it multiplies. It continues to multiply. So sometimes we get off track, right? Off track. You know, remember as kids, those of us who are old enough, we used to have train sets. And then the aluminum tinsel would fall across the track and it would short it out. I know some of you have no clue what I'm talking about. And then what we'd have to do is we'd have to take copper pennies, am I remembering my science teacher here? Take copper pennies and rub it on the tracks to reactivate it so the train would run again. I lost half of you. Point is, sometimes we go off track, and getting back on track is complicated. So I'm suggesting that you maintain who you are so you just don't get off track. It's easier than getting back on. It really is. Forgiving others, forgiving all actions, forgiving yourself, forgiving your judgments, and repenting in your own way, whatever that looks like for you. And it should always begin with forgiving yourself. It should always begin to forgive yourself for just having an opinion about someone. This is how you and I will transform this planet. If we can live with the reality of Jesus and the behaviors and the consciousness and the values that he is credited with, oh man, are we going to walk a sweet path, a sweet, powerful path. You must allow it. You must accept it. It requires your participation. Yes? Are you willing? Yes. So, if you will, let's take this into prayer. Yes, sir. Yeah, in January, I don't remember the date, it's in all the emails you've been receiving, I'm sure. I am teaching a class, it's on Ernest Holmes, it's the Essential Ernest Holmes, and it's a spiritual mastery class. And so what we're going to do is we're not going to talk about it's not going to be about manifesting. It's going to be about the spiritual depth of what Holmes brought to us. And I will use the book that they require, but I'm also going to bring to you some other material and some other readings. The other day, I'm going to sidetrack for just a second. I decided to do something different, and I went to this It was a conversation. It was called One Human Family. And I thought, oh, I want to see what that's about. And it was organized by the Baha'i. And if you don't know what that is, you can take time to research it yourself, because it's a little too complicated for me to try to create the distinctions now. And it was a very small gathering. We were perfect strangers. I was welcomed with arms. They had no idea who I was. And we sat and talked about deep spiritual principles that come from self to the whole. And so this class is going to be like that. Who are we in our mastery? What does that look like? So I do hope you come and that you join me in that class in January. Now, if you will, let's stand and hold hands. Let's make connection. Figure it out, Joe. You can figure it out. Oh, so know with me now as this time I'm gonna keep my eyes open and look at you beautiful beings, look into the eyes of each of you, and know that there is a power and a presence and a love. It is beautiful, it is glorious, it is amazing, and it shows up in, through, and as each of you. Your heart, in your mind, in your activities, in your decisions, in your lives, the way you treat yourself and the way you treat your loved ones. I know for each one of us here that we are empowered to be the bold, badass, beautiful, brilliant people that we have been studying to be. Let this holy season, the balance of this holy season, be more grand and glorious because you were in it, because I was in it, because we bring who we are to every table that we sit around, to every hand that we let us be the makers of good, the lovers of life, and walk in that wherever we go. If you are willing to be that, give a glorious yes into the room. That yes. I'm so grateful. I surrender this word of love, to law, to life, and to the awe of life itself. And so it is. Thank you all.
So to follow that up, we have a very deep, rich, spiritual song. You can close your eyes and sing along and be like, the weather outside is frightful, inside it's so delightful. Since we no place to go and it happens, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, it doesn't, so just I don't stop it. And I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally say goodnight, how I hate to go out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home, oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still alive. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Play some live. Weather outside is frightful, and fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, your part. Here we go. Oh, it just is so time to stop it. And I bought some corn for popping. And the lights are turned way down low. When we finally kiss goodnight, oh, I hate to go out in the storm, but if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. And as long as you love me so, One more time. One more time.
All right, so all of you who just sang Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, have to shovel my driveway if that's what you're asking for. 30 Longview Trail West, Denville, New Jersey, just so you know. But, I see. All righty. So, you know, part of the thanking everybody in this community, this is the time for our conscious giving. And there has been so much done and so much given to get us where we are today, here in this beautiful place, being able to meet in person. When I went back to look at this, to wrap things up here at the end of the year, I realized we have come back from that pandemic so well that we have met in person this year 37 out of 52 Sundays. That feels really. And again, thank you, Benet Cachette, for making that possible and being our partner in that. But there's been so much done by the Leadership Council, by the members in terms of the giving all the time, and all those that sponsor a Sunday. We had so many people sponsor a Sunday. It's been fantastic, right? Having said that, giving is still way down. And there are still Sundays, there are still months where we're in the red. And we're doing a great job of piecing it together. But there's more to do. We need more fundraisers, we need more members joining in order to build this and keep going. But, thank you. We've done a damn good job, and I really appreciate it. We'll get to 52 out of 52. Trust me, we'll get there. And also, we have the Hefferland Grant. We match the Hefferland Grant. We have money now. Yeah, thank you all. And we're looking for an expert, somebody who knows more than we do about Zoom and broadcasting, so that you folks at home, I know there's been some rough Sundays, but we're working on it. We're going to invest in it. It's important to us. You're important to us. So if you would please say along with me our conscious giving affirmation. I bless this gift that I give today. I give this gift from my heart, and I give it mindfully. May my gift go further to heal, prosper, and bless this center and all who enter. I accept all good that comes as a result of this flow, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. I got a good question for you. How many people here love paying taxes? Mark raised his hand halfway, but were you scratching your nose, or were you just kind of okay with taxes? Yeah. Well, here's your opportunity to pay less taxes. Give us your money. There you go. We are, and you should know this. This is year-end giving when people do this, right, in order to lower their tax burdens. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is authorized by the Internal Revenue Service to be just. So if you know anyone who's swimming in money, want their tax burden to be less, as you just heard Reverend Michelle say, we're here to ease their burden. All right, so thank you. It is. Bravo. On with that. So, next Sunday, we will be in person and on Zoom. We'll have Reverend Joel, who, not surprisingly, his topic is radical love. So, and I will remind you once again about January 5th. You'll get details on this coming up, because this is just happening and developing. Again, anybody who can be here at 4 o'clock to help set up, arrange, do things, we appreciate it, but the service will start a little bit after that. And speaking of sponsoring a Sunday, we have Reverend Michelle Wadleigh to thank for sponsoring this Sunday too. And a little reminder while we're talking to you folks out, the Zoomies out in Zoom land, please make sure you update your Zoom programs because they change it a lot, and a lot of times it can affect how you see, how you view what's coming across. So we know that that's important. Reverend Michelle told you about the class in January. One thing I do want to point out is when we're talking about finances, that class, the fee we have on that class is more than $100, maybe $150 less than CSL wants us to charge for. So we're doing it to make it as available to everybody as possible. If money is an issue, call us. Let's talk about it. Figure it out. Staying in principle. It's what we've been about this whole year, and getting back and being in principle. That's the place to do it. January 26th is our annual meeting. It's coming up. It's the last Sunday of January. Excuse me, we'll meet here. We will be in person. And it'll happen right after our service as usual. If you're interested in serving in a leadership position, you can send us an email at cslnorthjersey@gmail.com. You can talk to any one of the Leadership Council members who, by the way, Joe Schneider is co-chair. I'm there with him. We have Andy, who's there. We have Edna, who's on the board. We have Jessa is our treasurer, who's has to live in Florida in the sunshine, you know. And this guy, I'm sorry, what's your name again? Ty. This Ty guy, he's on there as well. And did I forget anybody? No, good. So speak to any one of us, and you know, we welcome more people contributing, more ideas, more new ideas. All right. So if you know, if you have an interest, let us know. Put it on your calendar for the 26th. And now you're going to hear two more songs. Don't leave after one. Stay for two. And these two songs are songs that have been a tradition here at CSL&J for how many years? About 20 years. So they're going to play each song 20 times to honor. So, you know, you may want to leave after 10. Okay, thank you.
So this song is Welcome Back to Life. And I want to thank all the light bearers in this room here today. Let's hear it for us. It's the shortest day now. Winter has come. Nature is sleeping. And the work is done. Fire is warm now. No light deep. Time is moving to us. Now, the sun will shine. The grace of Spirit. Some days divine. But with the guidance of the universe, night turns day, and our fears about tomorrow all fade away. Peace and affirmation of warmer days to come. In celebration, Father, we are one. Souls and arms were planted. The light of unity. Vision for the future. It's how we hold our spirits going now. That the sun will shine. The grace of the Spirit. Some days divine. Go with the guidance of the universe. Night turns into day, and our fears about tomorrow all fade away. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid now. The sun will shine, grace of spirit, your days divine. Go with the guidance of the universe. Night turns into day, and our fears about tomorrow all fade away. Go with the guidance of the universe. Night turns into day, and our fears about tomorrow all fade away. Go with the guidance of the universe. Night turns into day, and our fears about tomorrow all fade away. Oh, and ritual. I was about to say, close your eyes while I climb up. Wow. I want to say something first. I'm going to say something, but I want to say something before I say something. And I hope you don't mind me doing this, but I want to acknowledge and give respect to Mo and to Mark. Thank you so much for coming and visiting with us. Thank you for your example. You have walked through, I don't know what, such challenges. And you never, no matter what setbacks you had, you kept going, and look at the results now. Mark, you stood by this lady. Such an example for us of this teaching, of courage, of commitment, and doing everything you could to live the principles that we teach here. So I honor you, I respect you, I love you. Thank you so much. All the best. Now we're going to talk about Christmas. You know, the longer I live on this planet, every day, day in and day out, I have the blessing of collecting treasures, because love is a gift, it's a treasure. And I am so very grateful that the longer I live, the more gifts and the more treasures I receive. Whoever would have thought in the very beginning that this miserable, scared, lost little girl would grow to a point where I would just be collecting bundles of love. And I am so... Every year, I talk about my family Christmases. And I always start out by saying my childhood wasn't easy. But my parents, for whatever reason, I wish they were still here to ask, maybe because somebody did it for them, but for whatever reason, my parents had the talent, the ability of making magical Christmases. They put their all into it with the little bit that they had. And so one of my favorite things I always tell you is my father was a commercial decorator. And he would decorate our home, and he had this gold garland that is still in the box at our home today. It will probably fall apart if I touch it, but that's okay. He would string the garland across from one corner to the other, and then cross it with the other corners, and hang mistletoe in the middle. And I used to attack my little brother and give him kisses. And he was so upset and so angry or push away. I loved it. I've learned to be more kind, to respect other people's wishes and spaces and boundaries. I didn't have that then. My mother would bake cookies, and she would make from scratch. I don't know if anybody even does that anymore. And we had to go to midnight mass. Before I was a religious scientist, I was Catholic. You couldn't touch anything until you went to midnight mass. No cookies, no gifts, no nothing. You had to go to church, okay? And it was just a joyous time. We sang Christmas carols, and God bless my mother. She was a living, breathing, walking, talking performer. She could have been in any Broadway show. My mother would sing all kinds of songs, and she would recite poetry. I was blessed. I was blessed. Most of you probably don't even know who Paul Laurence Dunbar is. I can recite several of his poems. He was a masterful poet, and my mother knew. And I've come to recognize is that my mother and my father knew at Christmas how to open their hearts, how to give, how to be generous and kind and create an atmosphere, to create a vibe that was rich with love. It was rich with love. No matter what happened the rest of the year, it was rich with love. And so I want to invite you, with your families, with your friends, with the people that matter to you, even if you're struggling and maybe not on the best of speaking terms and there's energy between you, sometime during this holiday, offer some kindness, give some love, do something little even that will make a difference and bring them joy, that will make a difference and let them feel like they're loved. And if nobody does that for you, stand in the mirror, look yourself dead in the eyes and say, I love you, and you matter to me. So, my father had this little 45, I don't know what that is, it's okay, ask me later. My father had this little 45 of Nat King Cole singing the Christmas song, and I used to sing it, play it. Actually, I don't know if I sang with it then, but I used to play it over and over and over and over and over and over until my dad would very gently say, okay, Tony, give it a break. Give it a break. So I am so grateful to be able to be with you every Christmas and share this song.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all will find hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering a simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 2. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa to you.
At the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, we believe in empowering individuals to discover their inner strength and their connection to divine life. Through our supportive community, transformative workshops, and uplifting services, we provide a safe space for personal growth and spiritual exploration. Whether you're seeking clarity, healing, or a deeper understanding of life's mysteries, our center offers practical tools and timeless wisdom to help you thrive. Join us in creating a more diverse, compassionate, and kind world. Your world, the way you want to create it.